Okay, we are ready to go. All right, everybody, welcome to tonight's men's Zoom. I am not a man, but I am going to chime in a little bit with these fellas here tonight, who I love them and I love them all dearly. But they have donated their time to us tonight to kind of help answer some common questions that we hear often on guys maybe that have just gotten into the business or are trying to figure out where their place is, how to kind of get started with things, maybe with their significant other. Or maybe you're somebody that's thinking about joining It Works and is wondering how this all will fit into your life. So whether you're thinking about doing this on your own, because we do have a lot of guys in this business that can totally rock this with or without a female partner. Or maybe, like I said, with your wife or girlfriend or partner or whatnot. So I'm going to say wife a lot just because it's easier, but wherever you fit in, it applies to you. So anyway, you're going to hear from 3 different guys tonight. Andy Harsha happens to be my hubby. Nick Bowles and Elisha Marshall. Eli. All 3 of these guys run their business or contribute to the business in very different ways. So I think it's going to be cool just to kind of hear how they do things. So let's go ahead and get started. Elisha, let's have you kind of jump in first. Tell us a little bit about your story. How did you and Trista get started in this business?
Sure. Yeah, our story is pretty typical. 2 years ago, well, not quite 2 years ago, about 19 months ago, I tell this story often, so I kind of get confused on how long we've actually been in. But about 19 months ago, Trista, who is my wife, approached me about joining this business. Well, at that time, I was a career firefighter. I still am. She was a registered nurse at a pediatric office, and I owned a sports performance business, which I have recently sold. So I thought we were living the all-American dream. I thought, man, this is fantastic. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Life is really, really good. And I was really excited about that. And she came to me and brought this idea, and I said, no way. I said, you're out of your mind. I want nothing to do with a multi-level marketing company. It's a pyramid scheme, all those things. And these things are often thought by a lot of people, but especially guys. For whatever reason, guys have a really hard time wrapping their mind around what this type of company is all about, and we tend to think that it just provides a bunch of false dreams for people and all of that. And that was where I sat. So I was probably sitting where a lot of you guys out there are right now, thinking this thing is just kind of bullcrap, really. Well, Trista asked me to join. I told her no. At that time, another gal that had asked Trista to join went ahead and joined, and then fast forward 9 months. Trista asked me again to join, and along with her, she brought a picture of this gal earning a $50,000 bonus with this It Works Global company. Well, my wife wasn't really talking to me, but that $50,000 was saying a whole lot. So I said, you've got my attention. So I listened to what Trista had to say. I was still opposed to the idea. I went to bed that night. I prayed about the situation, and I woke up the next morning and I told Trista, I said, if this is something you really want to do, go for it. And in the back of my mind, being that arrogant, know-it-all husband that we all are, I thought there's no chance that she's gonna do anything with this. She's gonna see it my way in a couple of weeks. She's not gonna be making any money. She's not gonna have any new friends. She's just gonna understand this was just a hobby and probably a bad idea. Well, the exact opposite is what happened. She started to really enjoy this business and the entire process. I started to see a side of my wife that I had never seen before. She really took ownership in this. She got excited about this. And in turn, my eyes were kind of like opened up. I said, wow, this is really something. Maybe there is something to this. Along with the fun that she was having, she started making money. At the time, there was a $1,000 Ruby bonus out. Well, she earned a $1,000 Ruby bonus within her first month. A Ruby in this company, which we'll talk about later, but a Ruby in this company, the average income per month is $600. So she had earned a $1,000 bonus, was already bringing home an average of $600 a month, and then she asked me if I would join. I said, now you've really lost your mind. There's no chance I'm joining the company. Same thing happened. The next morning I woke up. I said, if you want me to support you, I'm going to jump in with 2 feet, and we're going to make this happen. Trista and I earned the Ruby bonus again, $1,000 for us. I was at Ruby. So she's at $600 a month. I'm at $600 a month, and we've each earned a $1,000 Ruby bonus. And I'm going, holy smokes. I wish I would have listened to Trista a year ago and we would have joined this company then. Fast forward to now, we're Presidential Diamond within the company, which is the second highest rank in the company. My wife has since retired from her job as a full-time RN. I'll say that again. She retired at the age of 29 from her job being a full-time RN. I have sold my sports performance business, which was a very lucrative business that I really enjoyed, but I was able to clear space off so that I could attack this business more, spend more time with my family. And I've got some really exciting news coming up in hopefully March or April to where I'll actually be retiring from my full-time career firefighter job, and we'll all be able to come home and be a full-time family. And so saying that this company works is difficult for me to do because in the same breath I'm stating that I was wrong, but I'm very proud and happy to do it. So this company definitely works. That's our story, and I'm excited to tell you more as we go through this evening.
That's amazing. I love it.
Eli, there's a first time for everything.
There is. That's right. It's a first time for everything. And a lot of guys just have to kind of swallow their pride and understand that it's okay to be wrong sometimes.
That's right.
Yep. Nick, how about you? Tell us a little bit about you and Mandy's story, getting started with It Works.
Absolutely. I would love to do that. And our story is a little bit different from most. And here is why. My wife worked corporately with a few different companies in the direct sales business. And she worked corporately for almost 10 years. So I was kind of, if you would say, brought up into this industry. And I always kind of had a knack for it. I really never did anything with it in terms of on my own time or my own level, although she said that I would be good at it. So I've kind of learned a lot of tricks of the trade, and I understand how the business works. And almost, I don't know, I'm bad with numbers, but we'll say about a year and a half ago, Mandy was faced with a situation to where she had to decide if she was going to stay in the corporate world or break free from that and say, hey, you know what? I've been teaching people for 10 years how to live life on their own terms, spend more time with your family, make your own money. There's no bar set. So she was presented with an opportunity with It Works Global to work corporately. And when she was reviewing that offer, it also included relocation to Florida. And at that time, the boys weren't too keen on that. I always want to move to a warmer climate. But after pondering the decision for a while, she said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to go out on my own, and I'm going to turn down a 6-figure plus salary down to zero, and I'm going to become an independent distributor with It Works Global. And that's what she did. And it was so refreshing on the sense that it was cool to see her have that self-confidence, and I backed her up 100% and told her she could do it, but she knew she could do it. And within 6 months of being an independent distributor, she had replaced her full-time salary working corporately in the industry. So very cool. During this time, I was a regional sales manager for an ambulance manufacturer. So I was gone a lot. I was traveling. I was in Canada quite often, and really didn't get to spend a whole lot of time here in Illinois with the family. And our goal was to always bring me home and retire from my job. We didn't really have a date set in mind. We had a goal, within the summer of 2017 to make that a reality. Last May, we lost our 11-year-old son, Gannon, in an ATV accident, and that really spun our life around and out of control for a while. For 2 months, we didn't work the business, very little, as we grieved the loss of our son. During those 2 months, we were able to maintain the income with It Works through residual income, and we finally made the decision that I was going to leave my job as well, and we were going to be a full-time family with It Works, and both give 100%, work the business together, support each other, and create a create a destiny and a legacy for our family. And as of today, that's what we've done. We are double diamond leaders with It Works, and definitely looking forward to the future.
I love it. I love your story. All right, Andy Harsha. Ours is a little different. Andy, with both Nick and Eli, and I always call him Elisha, but Nick and Eli, they both now are full time. I mean, they work the business along with their wives, kind of on a full time basis. And Andy does not. So he's going to be our kind of perspective on those of you who maybe are working full time or have no plans of leaving a career that you love. You can kind of hear Andy's side of things. Go ahead, babe.
So when I think back to the beginning of this all, I remember having a conversation in the kitchen with Jessica. She was a full-time nurse. I am in education and actually had just sort of started pursuing the next promotion in my career. And I remember her coming to me. We had just sat down and had a pretty serious talk a few days ago about our budget and our debt, and that it was starting to grow. I was very grateful that I had earned a promotion in my company in my school system, and I knew that was going to help us a little bit. But I had just sat down days ago with her and said, we've really got to get in control of this debt. And we've got to start being a little bit more disciplined about the way we spend our money. And, we had really kind of decided we were going to tighten down the screws a little bit. So what happens next? Jessica comes to me and says, so I kind of was wanting to start this business, and it's going to be, $99 to get started. And at the time I said, no, absolutely not. Right now, we just got done talking about how every penny matters, at least for, the next couple months. And we're really going to be disciplined. So no, you're not going to go spend $100. And she explained to me a little bit about what the idea was and about how Trista and some other girls had tried. And I could just tell that she was pretty excited about this. And I said, you know what, go ahead and do it. And sort of like Eli said, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, there's another $100. But I support my wife, and I could tell she was passionate about it. She did start talking to me immediately about some of the products. I said, well, you're not in sales. You don't really have a desire to sell things. So like, what's it all about? And she said, well, I can tell you that I love greens. And I knew that she had been using those. And anyway, we kind of jumped in, and it's amazing for me to think about where we are now. Things happen pretty quickly. Jessica tells a story often. She literally jumped right in. I mean, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And I'm going to go forward and have fun. And I noticed immediately a change in her. And I would come home from work, long days at work, and she would say, hey, guess what? And there's this bonus. And hey, I talked to so-and-so and she's about signing up. And hey, I talked to so-and-so and they want to order some products. And I thought, okay, all right, whatever. But at this level, I still really felt like this was going to be something on the side that we did. That Jessica did for fun. It was something that might bring in a couple $100. She told me about her goal was to get to Ruby. And I thought to myself at that point, $500 a month, rewinding shortly to the debt plan we just talked about, man, $500 a month is going to help us get to our goal a lot quicker, and give us a little bit of breathing room. So I supported her. I was not involved at all, not one little bit. This was completely a Jessica thing, not a Jessica and Andy thing. So it's amazing for me to think about what happened so quickly. But like I said, her passion was on fire, and she started learning everything she could. She started asking all sorts of questions. Every time I saw her, she was watching a video that someone else had posted about how they do different things. And I thought, she's really getting behind this thing. And then, as Eli mentioned also, the money started becoming pretty real. And I think that's what really got my attention. That this no longer was going to just be something that she played around with on the side to have fun with her friends. but this could be a legitimate source of income for us. Guys, within 4 months, she had basically replaced her nursing income. And trust me, she had my attention then. I began to, at that point, start trying to ask her how I could help, because this now became a reality for us. And I'll kind of cut it off there, but as you may or may not know, Jessica and I are now triple diamond in the company, approaching presidential. It's our next goal. And I just couldn't be more proud of the work that she's done. And it has been just an amazing journey for both of us. And I'm just excited to be able to share with you some of the details of that tonight.
Thank you. All right. So kind of leading after or following up with what Andy was talking about, when his eyes kind of were open, but when the money started coming in, I feel like most guys are that way. I often will have somebody on our team where the guys are just not on board. They don't see the vision. They just don't get it until they start seeing those paychecks start to come in, and they kind of are slowly growing. And it's like, oh, okay, well, wait, hang on. What's happening here? Like, well, this maybe this is legit. So Elisha, like, without going in complete detail of our compensation plan, talk a little bit about that. Talk about kind of the opportunity that is there. And you kind of touched on that a little bit in the beginning, but like, what are the best ways or the quickest ways to kind of make that income, to kind of jump in and get going? What would you suggest to a guy that's wondering right now, to a guy that right now is just seeing dollar signs? Like, how is this going to affect my bottom line?
Sure, absolutely. The first and foremost, I understand not seeing the vision of a business. I understand not wanting to be a part of a business and thinking that something is just not going to work. I understand not supporting a business. But what I don't understand is, as a husband, not supporting your wife. Even if you don't believe in these products, even if you don't believe in this business, even if you don't believe in this system, here's a news flash for all you guys. You got married and you decided that you were going to support that young lady no matter what. I mean, anything short of something that's crazy detrimental. I'm not expecting you guys to support your wife for cheating on you or anything like that. But you should support your wife in any endeavor that she has, that she is so passionate about and believes that it's genuinely has an opportunity to change your family's life. So support your wife, even if you don't support the business, support her. But one thing that is so unique about our business, it's not necessarily the amount of money that we have the opportunity to make, which is crazy good. It's the way that we have the opportunity to make the money that sets us apart. I'm not going to get too in detail like Jess said, but I will talk about the 3 basic ways that there are for us to get paid. First and foremost, which I'm sure you guys already assume, is we do get paid on commission of products sold. Whether it's products that we sell personally or whether it's products that are sold by team members that we have underneath us or on our team with us, we get a specific percentage on commission of those products sold, which over time, even not necessarily over time, can add up to quite a bit of money, a pretty substantial income. Another really neat way that we can get paid are called fast start bonuses. Fast start bonus is, for instance, if I were to sign a new distributor, let's say I sign Nick up. First of all, I'm going to be really excited because Nick is awesome. He's a badass. So I'm going to be pumped up about
No
that.
doubt about that.
But that's right. But if I am able to help Nick, or even if I don't have to help Nick get his first 2 loyal customers within that first month, then I'm going to get $100. Now, when you're first starting out, that's a really quick way of earning quick cash. Because when you first start out, you're going to have your warm market of people that are going to support you no matter what. You could be out hawking bull crap, and so they're going to join you. They're going to support you for that. So let's say you get 2 or 3 people on your team, and you help each one of those 2 or 3 people get their first 2 loyal customers. You've already made $200 or $300 within your first month or 2. That already has returned your investment. So that's a really, really neat way that we get paid also, those fast start bonuses. The sky's kind of the limit with those. It just depends on how you want to handle it and how quick you want to jump out of the gate with it. The third way, which really, really sets us apart, are what we call get out of debt bonuses or good bonuses. Now, our company periodically puts these out there, and what they are intended to do exactly that, to help people get out of debt and save money like they've never been able to before. They range anywhere from $500 to $150,000. Now, I know that number, $150,000, a lot of you guys are going to roll your eyes, but I can guarantee you that my wife, by February or March, we're going to be going after a whole lot more than that. And that blows my mind to be able to say that, but it really does happen. And with those get out of debt bonuses, they were created as income that you didn't necessarily plan on having. So that's all extra money that you're able to put on your truck payment, or you're able to put towards the principal of your house, or pay off school loans, or save for college for your kids. That's all extra income, money that was unaccounted for, that you now have in your bank or in your pocket that you can put on anything that you desire. Really, really a very special way to build wealth. It's an awesome opportunity. But those three ways, without going into too much detail, are the things and the ways that set us apart as far as our compensation plan goes.
Our compensation plan truly is, it really honestly is unmatched. It's unlike any other company out there. The opportunity for you to take this and do whatever you want to with it, honestly, it's limitless. It truly, truly is. And all three of our families have been able to take advantage of those good bonuses like Eli was talking about. Honestly, it's completely changed our life. I can tell you that right now. Okay. So Andy, when do you kind of feel like, your eyes were kind of open to, and you kind of talked about this a little bit, but when do you really feel like your eyes were kind of open to the possibility of it all?
Ironically enough, I think we're coming up on conference here. I remember Jessica was really fairly new to the business, relatively speaking. And she said, so there's this conference and I want to go, and I'm going to have to buy a plane ticket, and I'm going to have to go to the conference and the hotel and all this stuff. And I thought, well, there goes the money that we just started making, right? Like I at this point was still pretty much a little bit of a pessimist about what was going on. But man, I will never forget the phone call that I got from her from conference telling me that she had really made a good choice and that this company was going to change our lives. And I don't know, I'm a realist. And when somebody says, this is going to change your life, sometimes that just sounds so cliche and it's so hard to believe.
Yeah.
But boy, I sit here today and there is no doubt that has happened. There is no doubt that our lives have been changed. But I remember that kind of turning point when I knew that this was no longer just a little something that we were going to do on the side. This was something that Jessica was really invested in. And this is when I started realizing, back to what Eli said, is it was time for me, up to this point in our marriage and in our life, my job had kind of been the front runner. I had been the breadwinner. My job was important, and we scheduled our lives around my breaks, around my hours during the day, around my responsibilities. And I remember kind of at that point saying, I need to start seeing what I can do to help Jess. So then she comes back from conference and she is just on fire. I mean, ready to go. She's talking, she's making plans, she's setting goals. I'm just like, man, this girl is ready to roll. So she, of course, back to what Eli said again, we hit in February, hit one of those good bonuses, and that was amazing. Again, just months ago, we were sitting there having a conversation about how in the world were we ever going to get out of debt. Now we've got money coming in, extra money from what she's doing with It Works, and now we've got these bonuses on top, and my mind is just blown. Well, it doesn't stop there, because now Jessica's even more motivated. She's even more excited. Now her enthusiasm and her passion for this company starts spreading like wildfire throughout her team. And suddenly the people on her team are going crazy, and they're passionate and they're excited. And next thing you know, in March, we hit another promotion and get another set of bonuses. And guys, when you talk about life-changing money, it was. And we have been able to attack our debt with an aggression that I never dreamt we could do. Our debt plan took us through, I think, the end of 2018, and we're out of it. We're already there. We are.
Job Harshows.
Yeah.
Yes. That is. That's pretty much the dance we were doing here at our house. But it's just.
That wasn't even close to the dance you were doing.
Yeah, you don't want to know that dance. But that was just it's just a sense of relief that I couldn't have imagined, and it's allowed us to do so many positive things, and really has changed. It's changed everything around our house. It's changed our attitudes. It's changed our outlook on our future. It's changed the opportunities that we've been able to give our kids. It's changed the way that we are able to share with others. And
that's just exciting. Anyway, I'm pumped up right now. I'm about to jump through the ceiling.
Well, don't do that now. You'll hit your head on that stone fireplace.
Yeah,
I got so fired up I had to shed a layer of clothes, man.
I know that. I noticed.
Golly.
I'm really sorry. I just got off on a tangent. The question was, when did I realize the possibilities? But the short answer there is, started at conference, rolled over into those first set of bonuses. But guys, I really can't help but get excited because I know what it's done for us. So sorry about the tangent there.
All right. So Nick, next question. So at some point, probably the guy's husband or wife, maybe, who knows, maybe wife or girlfriend's probably going to come to them and say, hey, I'm going to add you to my team. I'm going to make you a distributor underneath me. Should they let them do that? So let's say the guy wants nothing to do with his business. He doesn't plan on working it. Should he join the team?
You know what? That is a very solid question. And I'm going to start by saying, we've heard a lot of things that Eli and Andy have talked about that kind of separates It Works from all our competitors and just other people or other companies in the market. And It Works offers a really cool, I guess you could say it's a benefit of allowing there to be two distributors in a home. Most companies, guys, don't allow that. So that is really cool that It Works allows that. And the reason why they do that is because in an ideal situation, you have your spouse here, right? That thinker. In an ideal situation, when your spouse climbs up the ladder, right? She has to have other people climbing along with her, right? All the way to the top, because that's where you guys are going to go, to the top. In this ideal situation, you want this person here that's going up to the top, you want that to be an additional income in your home. So not only do you have your wife's income, but now you have two paychecks, right? And that's without you doing a thing. If you're a guy and you say, hey, honey, do whatever you want, run your business, but I'm not going to do anything. You know what? That is totally cool. There's a lot of guys in the business that do just that. I was that guy for 9 months. Andy was that guy, and now he's getting more involved. But he was that guy as well. Eli, I think you've kind of always been in the picture a little bit. So we were that guy who didn't do anything, but we collected two checks. That is extremely, extremely cool. And when you see your wife, trying to think of a good way to say this. When you see her smiling, when you see her enjoying what she does, I'm telling you right now, there is no way possible that you're going to be able to sit there and say forever that you don't want anything to do with this business. Eventually, and we'll get into it later, eventually you're going to get the buy-in and you're going to see the benefits that working alongside your wife, even if it's just going to a meeting or something like that, it's going to turn you on. So it's better to have two paychecks and you climb the ladder with your wife versus one person and some other person in wherever, Canada, Illinois, Indiana, getting that paycheck.
Absolutely. Every time.
Yep.
Elisha, so a question. All right. So someone will say to you, isn't there too many distributors? Isn't this market saturated? Is there room for us? What would you say?
Yeah, the answer is certainly yes, there's room for you. I understand the concern there. Depending on what demographic you sit in right now and how many people you feel like do it around you. But with It Works, there's really only about 150,000 paid distributors in the world. I don't know exactly the number on the number of people that we have in the world, but I know that it's in this like 7 billion, 8 billion range. 140, 150,000 distributors is only a drop in the bucket. I would not let that concern you at all, because in a lot of other major direct sales companies, there are several million distributors worldwide. So really, we're pretty small when it comes to the workforce in comparison to other companies. We also have such a unique way of sharing things through social media. Not that other companies can't, but our company promotes that. There are certain companies that kind of shy away from that or even regulate you on what you can actually post and what you can share via social media. But we've found a way to reach the masses. We are also an international company now. We're in several other countries, and that's fairly new to us. So that's a very exciting thing. Those are over the seas demographics that are very, very untapped that we have first dibs on, and that anybody that joins this company is going to have first dibs on. And at the end of the day, even the United States itself has only scraped the surface of what this company is actually going to do. It's not if it's going to happen, it's only a matter of when it's going to happen with this company. We're an ever-evolving company. I would not allow a market saturation to even enter your mind, because we are constantly coming out with new products. We're constantly coming out with new promotions that keep this company fresh. We have such an amazing organization above us that are constantly keeping things new that I would never allow market saturation or too many distributors or a stale market to ever enter your mind, because we have smarter people than me, that's for sure, calling the shots up high, keeping things fresh and new. So market saturation should not be an issue. I understand the thought process, but I can assure you that it's not anything to worry about.
Awesome. And I think, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
I just want to share a real quick story to kind of piggyback off Eli. So we were on the cruise a couple months ago, right? And we met a family. We live in a very small community, a town of 3,000 people. There's nothing around, okay? We met a couple who is 12 minutes from our doorstep. Take the back roads, right? 12 minutes. She is a diamond. Mandy's a double diamond. We had no clue that they were even involved with the company. None of our distributors or none of her distributors ever crossed paths. And guys, this is a town of 3,000 people. Mm-hmm. We're 12 minutes away. We had no clue that each other even existed. Our businesses never crossed. So just to piggyback, I mean, even in a very, very small community, saturation is still not even an issue. To
Absolutely.
Point.
We have, even from my very own high school, small community as well, we have like 20 people from the same high school that are diamond leaders and above within this company. That's absolutely crazy to think about, but that just goes to show how wide open the market still really is.
And that's the power of social media.
Absolutely.
Kind of going along the same lines. When I joined this company, I joined, with Trista, and she and I were nurses in the same pediatric office. There were 5 of us that were It Works distributors in that small pediatric practice. 2 of us, and soon to be 3 of us, have been able to retire and come home, under the age of 40. So again, that's the power of social media. But I also wanted to throw out to those of you who don't know or are kind of looking into this company a little bit more about the business, the actual company itself. It Works as a 16-year-old company. It was started by Mark and Cindy Pentecost, and Mark was a basketball coach and a teacher in Michigan. They are wonderful, wonderful Christian people who truly, really do care about the business, about the legacy, about their distributors. And it's honestly, it's a privilege to be a part of a company that way. We give back millions of dollars a year to charities, to our own Gives Back Foundation. And like Elisha was talking about, health and wellness products, guys, they keep bringing them out, but health and wellness is not a fad. It's not going anywhere. We continue to evolve and get better. And I know all of us on this Zoom tonight, as well as many of our family and friends, have been have truly had our quality of life impacted by some of these products. So you can stand behind and feel good about what you're promoting and what you're encouraging people to put into their bodies, because it truly is good. And like he said, going kind of across the seas, I believe we're now in 22 countries and still with under 150,000 distributors. So it's limitless, guys.
Like Jess said, guys, health and wellness is not a fad. If anything, it is trending upward in America right now. We've kind of realized the sins of our past. We understand obesity now. We understand what's causing, heart problems and all of the things that are going on right now. And we're starting to correct those things with the stuff that we sell, in all honesty. Good, natural, plant-based supplementation. Along with healthy diet and exercise, but it is not a fad. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's trending upward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Elisha, what are some ways that maybe a guy's watching tonight and he's thinking, all right, well, maybe I need to be more supportive. Maybe I need to kind of jump in and help a little bit more. What are some things that would maybe help them get going or kind of help them support their wife?
First and foremost, because since every relationship is a little bit different, keep your lines of communication open and ask your wife. I know that's hard to do sometimes, but go up to your wife and say, hey, honey, I appreciate and I notice you working really hard to improve our life. What can I do to make this easier? What can I do to make your life easier? What can I do to push our business forward? And she's going to be open. You might not like exactly what she has to say because it might include something like laundry. It might include something like doing the dishes, but I can assure you that after you receive your first 5-figure paycheck a month, that laundry, that's a pretty good price to pay for that. So make sure you leave your lines of communication open with your wife and you ask her, what can you do? Something very simple. If you're a guy out there that says, I still don't feel comfortable doing this, I'm not completely on board, I'm supporting my wife, something that's really easy to do is just wear gear. We have really, really nice clothes that we can wear, and it definitely attracts attention. So wear your gear, always have a smile on your face, improve your social media skills a little bit, I guess, would be one that I would always say. When I first started, I didn't even have Facebook. And one thing that I did to really help Trista is I just started a Facebook account, and I posted on it maybe 2 times a day. I never posted anything about it works. But I just tried to improve my following, grow my following. And then what had happened is she started to tag me in all of her social media posts. And so she was reaching an entirely new friends list, which was my friends list, as well as hers at the same time. So her demographic or her prospective clients doubled in size just simply by me having a Facebook account allowing her to tag me. So communication, wear your gear, allow your wife to tag you, and just continue to be supportive in whatever she might need. I think that's the number one thing. I can't give some blanket program that would work for everybody because only your situation, but just asking your wife what you can do to help would be the best thing. And don't do it with a roll in your eyes, do it with a smile on your face. And I think that'll prove pretty beneficial down the road.
Yeah. Nick, do you have anything to add to that? How about when there's meetings or like Andy was talking about conference, how important do you think it is to get to those kinds of things?
Yeah, I think it's very important. And I think something that I tried to do, I guess, when Mandy made the decision was I tried to understand not necessarily the market, but I tried to understand the actual business. So I had kind of an idea of, okay, so I'm here right now and I see Mandy on the phone. What is she doing? So I would ask. And once I started to understand that, this is social media driven and this is fairly simple and it doesn't take much time, then I got it. So I appreciated all the work that she did. And so, yeah, I guess just understand a little bit about the business, and then definitely attending any types of meetings that you can to show your support. It's going to show that that A, you're involved, but B, you're going to get to meet some pretty cool individuals. And I think that just the culture and the amount of just awesome people that we have, and it's even company-wide, is really cool. So if you get one thing out of supporting your wife, it's going to be some pretty cool friendships.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I want to add, can I add one thing, Jeff?
Yeah.
I think it's just real quick. It's important to know that your role, being supportive or being involved, is very likely going to change. I think about what Jess needed from me at the beginning. Really was just a little bit of good job, honey, and, you know, keep up the good work. Then as she got a little bit more into it and her team started growing, and she was struggling to keep track of everybody and their names and their customer numbers and all these things. So I helped with some kind of paperwork, and I helped her with sending out thank you cards, and I created a database on an Excel spreadsheet for her. And then, you know, even now, my role has changed. So I think it's important. There's not really a blanket answer that says,
Right.
if you are going to be supportive, this is the way it looks. I think back to what Eli said is you've got to be willing to support in the way that she needs you to. And, you know, what Jessica needs from me in this business might be different than what Mandy needs from Nick or what Tristan needs from Eli. And again, those are just evolving. But the bottom line is you got to be open to new ideas, and you got to be open to do what she needs. You know, tonight I worked a 13-hour day today, but I talked to Jess and I said, what's going on? And she was stressing about getting Hudson home from basketball practice and getting things going. And, you know, I stopped and grabbed Jimmy John's on the way home, got the kids out of her hair for a little bit to let her get organized about this evening. And you know what? That was my 45 minutes of support, but it allowed things to kind of settle down and allowed her to get done what she needed to get done today.
Andy Harsh is a super dad.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it was a little thing that I think went a long way tonight. So.
Yeah. And like Nick was saying, I think a lot of people will comment on the fact of, man, you know, my wife's just on her phone all the time. But like Nick said, having that communication open where you're telling, you know, if you can like tell each other or sit down with your wife and say, you know, what are you doing right now? And if you actually get that explanation of, well, you know, I'm not just scrolling through, I'm not just looking at people's pictures, I'm actually, you know, expanding my market, or I'm reaching out or returning messages to, you know, I have somebody that wants to order tonight. Keeping that communication open, I know that helped Andy and I a ton, because he was one of those guys. It was like, dude, get off your phone. I'm like, you know, this is what I'm doing. But kind of going off of that too, like what, I know that a lot of people, especially guys, are concerned about the time commitment. They're afraid this is going to take their wife away from their family too much, that this is, you know, they are, you know, maybe their wife is working a full-time job, or she already has a lot on her plate. So I often will hear, you know, my husband's just worried about the time. He doesn't think I have the time, or we have the time. Andy, let's start with you. Like, what would you say to that?
Well, I think back to when you really got going on all this stuff, just really what we had going on. Again, as I mentioned, I'm a school administrator. I had long days and often weekends too. Jessica was a full-time nurse. So she had, you know, we were using her mom for childcare, and we had just crazy schedules as it was. In addition to that, Jessica always is trying to be as involved as she can with the kids' lives, and her schedule sometimes allowed her to do that. So she was on the board at Henley's preschool. She was serving as a class volunteer at Hudson School. Even though I tried to tell her not to, she signed up to be the lead of the fundraiser at the preschool, the biggest fundraiser they do of the year. And of course, she was in charge. You know, she was on the PTO committees. I mean, just everything that you could imagine. And then on top of all that, she was married to a school principal. And there were nights where I told her that I would be home at 5, and then suddenly things happened at school or a meeting came up, and next thing you know, I'm not going to be home till 8. And I look at just that blur of life that we were in at the time, and I wonder, you know, how in the world we ever did this. And I hear people say, well, I don't know. And I just don't know that I'm going to have the time for that. And I think there's no way. And maybe you are as busy as we were. Typically find somebody that wants to join this company that says, I'm just sitting around and I have all this time and I'm just looking for something to fill it with. Typically it's, I'm busy. In fact, I'm being pulled in 15,000 different directions. And what we have found now is that we stay busy, but you know what? It's things that we choose to do. I still work. I still love my job. I still have commitments that I have to do, but we now are more in control of that time. And really that's what people want, It's not that they need more time. It's that they want more control over their time. They want to make the decisions about what they're going to do with that time, how they're going to spend it with their kids, how they're going to volunteer at church, where they're going to go on vacation, without always having to answer to somebody else. And man, that is a good feeling when you are in control of your own time. So, and then I think of now, right? So now, from when Jessica started, just getting started in this business and trying to get a Ruby team together to where she's at now with Triple Diamond, she's, got 10 times more of the responsibilities. Our kids are in more things. Today, Hudson had piano lessons, and then he went off to basketball. He's got Spanish classes before school this week.
He just got a black tip on his belt.
Yes, he did, and don't you doubt it for 1 second, because he'll tell you.
I know.
But just so much going on. But again, there are things I'm noticing. The things that we're spending our time doing are things that we choose to do. And man, there is some power in that. And
this is something way off. This is way off track, which is kind of where I live, is way off track. But I've got to say something here. For all you guys out there that are kind of wondering if we're just like these guys that got conned into doing this, that is not the case at all. I genuinely look at both of these guys as two of my very best friends. I look at them as brothers to me, and that can very well happen to you guys. And I know that a lot of women out there, they find a lot of value in their friendships. And I know that the coolest form of currency that I've gained out of this is time and the friendships and brotherhood that I've gained out of this. It's absolutely amazing. I wouldn't do it with anybody else.
Oh, shucks. No, you weren't talking about me.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. You're one of the dudes.
Okay.
That's right.
Nick, how are you? Like, how do you feel now about, having the time now at home, having that time away from, you used to be gone so often. What's that like for you now?
It is totally awesome. Like Eli said, the freedom of time, you can't put a price tag on it. But one thing that, I kind of want to talk about is that, you've got to let your dreams be bigger than your fears. I think a lot of times we get held back by second guessing ourselves or not having the, confidence in someone's ability or even your own ability. And the freedom of time that we have gained through It Works is tremendous. I hear often that guys, like you said, Jess, and Andy was one of those guys, what is she doing on her phone? Is she just scrolling? Is she wasting time? Are we doing anything that's going to make me money, make our family money? And I can honestly say that 94% of the time, that's what you guys are doing. You guys are hammering your business out, and you're putting yourself and your family in a position to where you're going to own your time. You're going to own your dreams. You're going to start marking things off your dream board and doing things that you've never imagined. And that is extremely cool. And when you talk about time on the phone, which is how we work 95% of our business, right? Do you know what the really cool thing about this industry is? You get to work from your phone, and yet you're still present. So you're making money. You're still present within your family. You can still be active with your children's activities. If you get a message, you fire it off real quick. Guess what? You're not on the road. I'm not in Canada making money. I'm at home making money now with my son and my wife, and that's where it's at, guys. There's a lot of people who join this business just because they want to make $250 a month, or they want to make $500 a month, and you know what? That is perfectly okay. That is still good. And then there are also people who want to make, 50 times that, and they want to be a stay-at-home family. That's awesome too. Both can be done. We're not going to say that it's super easy, because nothing's easy that has a high reward, but it is fairly simple. So the time here alone at home is awesome.
Yes, I know one of the concerns that comes across a lot of guys' mind is that they say, well, their wife doesn't have any sales background. Or that they just aren't really an outgoing person. I'd say that was my wife for sure. I love her to death, but I wouldn't have allowed her to sell, anything, because I wouldn't have bought anything from her. But the truth of the matter is, this company has made success very duplicatable. They're very, very easy steps to follow that anybody can do, anybody can follow. And so if there's any insecurity or worry about whether or not your wife maybe can cut it in this industry or with this company, you can set those aside because the company's made it very, very easy. There are so many trainings. There are so many different team meetings, and I will guarantee you that the accessibility for upper leadership and to upper leadership is very, very available. So that's another thing to kind of put out of your mind if you're worried about your wife's ability to sell anything. It's very, very simple to do because the company's made sure that they sell a good product and the system works.
And I think
You think about that, how amazing that really is. First of all, to join into a business that has the potential that this one does for $99 is absurd, right? Such a small amount to have the opportunities of such a large ceiling. But also, so many businesses out there. I think about my job, right? Like to where I'm at in my job now took college and master's degree and years of experience and building relationships and in my district. And it's something that I'm very proud of, but that took lots of time, lots of money, lots of education, lots of work on time that classes I was required to go to. Jess learned about this business when she was laying in bed watching YouTube videos on her phone, or when she was sitting in the lot waiting for the kids to get out of school, reading up on the compensation plan. This is something that you can learn at your own pace, at your own time, at your own speed. And you can jump in as quickly or as slowly as you want to. There just aren't things out there like that for people that can really be molded to what's right for you and make it so easy.
I agree. Fabulous. And Nick, I love how, Nick, you always talk about, the short-term sacrifice right now for that long-term gain, Put the work in, jump in, get going, talk about that a little bit.
Yes. I've never met anybody who has became wealthy overnight. Those people do exist. I've never met them. And that's okay because we probably wouldn't get along. But so you want to talk about short-term for long-term gain, right? The amount of time that you spend working your business for the first couple months is going to be all your energy and all your momentum that you have, right? So you work hard in the beginning, and then I'm not going to say that it slows down because it definitely doesn't slow down, but your skills become more vast, and you don't necessarily have to put all the time in when you're down the road because you build leaders, right? It's layered leadership. So for the first 6 months to a year, that's your job. You're going to work your tail off to meet your goals that you set in advance, and then you're going to build leaders. So at the end of the day, you're going to put in a lot of effort in the beginning because you want to get to an end road. You want to meet those goals and achieve them and then blow them out of the water. And you're going to do that by putting in effort and time in the beginning for a nice reward at the end. And you're also going to have people that are going to support you all along the way. I'm a big believer in you've got to work hard for what you get, period.
I agree. Okay. Fabulous. All right. Anything else any of you dudes want to add?
Nothing else. Well, I really appreciate you having me on. I know that.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. All right. But
Absolutely.
I know a lot of the guys that are watching this kind of started out, and hopefully we've kind of put those fears to the side of, is this a scam? It's totally normal to be skeptical. I think every one of us, when we first heard about the company and what it was all about, I think, naturally we're skeptical. I know I was. But I can promise you this absolutely is not a scam in any way. It is a life-changing opportunity if you run with that opportunity. And like we all talked about, you can make of this whatever you want or need for your family. You decide, you make the rules. You decide your end game. You can set a goal and then blow that goal out of the water and just keep running. And we encourage you. And if you want to pass us all on up, we're going to wave to you and say, go, run, go for it. You're not going to be held back by anybody that's, you're on somebody's team. You're not going to be held back by any of us. In fact, we'll encourage you the whole way. So we would love to have you if you're thinking about it. And if you are a part of our team, and I know I'm sure you guys don't mind, but if any of you guys have questions or maybe need some tips or some ideas on how to get more involved in the business, I know any of these guys would be happy to talk to you. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's important because I think back to when we got going, I turned to Eli for a lot. I asked a lot of questions about little things, about big things, about future things, about how things work. And my guess is there were people that he asked questions to, and the guy before him that asked questions to. So please reach out, find us on Facebook. We'd be happy to help. And we're going to shoot you straight. We're going to tell you like it is. So if you have any questions kind of from the guy side of things, don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
See y'all.
guys.
Love you.